everyone. Hello and welcome in. After a couple days hiatus, we return to a series that has been on a several-week hiatus, as a matter of fact. That is the Rookie Review Series, where we take a look at all of the NFL draft picks for the Minnesota Vikings for the 2021 NFL Draft. Today, the series lands us on round 4. Pick 119, that is Kene Nwangwu, running back from Iowa State. We'll do a brief background on him, go over some stats, and then close out on what I think he could be as a contributor for the team this year, and maybe a small glimpse into the future. Had to skip videos for a couple days because I'm sick. You can still tell in my voice it sounds awful. This will not be high-quality content today, if you couldn't already tell. But I didn't want to go an entire week without posting anything except for the one video on Monday and then Weekly Nord News on Friday. That feels like a big lapse in, an upload. So I wanted to throw something out there, get back into the series. We're going to do NFL team previews starting next week. We're approaching mini camp. If time goes fast. Like, we're going to be in preseason before you know it. So still got a lot to talk about. So let's just jump right into it. So Kene Nwangwu, running back from Iowa State. If I am mispronouncing that, number one, I apologize. And number two, this is the current pronunciation guide that I'm using, which is made available to me from a draft guide that I purchased back in April. So I'm doing my best to get this name right. I think I got it down. If I'm still wrong, let me know. But this is the name pronunciation guide that I'm going to be using going forward. So that's just a little, aside. So Kene Nwangwu, running back, Iowa State, 6'1", 210 pounds, redshirt senior coming out of college. Those are official pro day measurements. A little bit of a background on him: football and track star at Frisco Heritage High School, 3-star recruit coming out of high school, number 66 ranked running back in the 2016 recruiting class. Turned down offers from Iowa and Northwestern, so he had an opportunity to be in the Big Ten. Ultimately chose the Big 12 to join Iowa State. Dude's an absolute smart guy. 3.76 GPA, has a degree in mechanical engineering from Iowa State. So just absolute brilliant mind, young player, which I like. Very good to see. He was invited to the East-West Shrine Bowl. That was unfortunately canceled due to the pandemic. Also invited to the NFLPA Collegiate Bowl, which was also unfortunately canceled due to the pandemic. So I think that it's kind of weird to see some of the pre-draft scouting reports about Nwangwu suggesting that he should have been a 6th to 7th round draft pick because of the position that he plays and how much he didn't actually play that position in college. He was more of a special teams contributor, and I think that's why the Vikings addressed that position early on in the draft with him as the 119th pick overall. So in college, his 2016 season, the running back numbers are very low in the offense. He plays in 12 games his freshman year, 27 carries, 133 yards, but he does get honorable mention All Big 12 for special teams as a kick returner. 2017, misses the entire season with a torn Achilles. He takes a medical red shirt. 2018, 13 games. Again, not a lot of carries on offense. 39 total for 157 yards, but he does get a second team All Big 12 as a kick returner. 2019, a rather forgettable season. 13 games, 16 carries, 115 yards. Not much in terms of postseason awards for him at any position. And then in 2020, 12 games, 61 carries, 339 yards, his biggest contribution to the running game his entirety of college. Does get honorable mention All Big 12 as a kick returner. That is the easiest college career that we could basically look at. And you don't want to focus so much on the running back numbers because I don't think the Vikings drafted him as a running back. I think they drafted him as a kick returner, much like they did with KJ Osborne a year ago, the wide receiver out of Miami, whose primary duties was supposed to be returns, but that unfortunately did not pan out. He did not live up to that fitting. So with Kene Nwangwu, you are definitely getting the kick return aspect of his game. A highly productive kick returner, according to scouting reports, and the statistics back it up. 26.8 yards per return. Finishes his college career with 92 returns, 2,470 yards, and a touchdown. As far as the running back contributions that he gave to Iowa State, there was only 3 games with double-digit carries on offense for him for the entirety of his college career. So that is basically what you're getting out of Nwangwu when it comes to an offensive player, is that you're not going to play him that much. It's just not going to happen. He has home run speed, but I think the frame is a concern. But when it comes to kick returning and punt returning, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a slippery guy who's fast as hell, that can make a play, get your offense in a better field position. I believe that we've been over this before. The kick return, if I remember correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm always open to fans doing that or viewers doing that. If you look at the return game from the Minnesota Vikings last year, kick returns not bad. Punting, I believe, was the sore spot. So if we could shore that up, the offense suddenly becomes more dangerous because you're not constantly starting in bad field position, and that's one of the aspects of the game that you have to win. For Kene Nwangwu, this year as a contributor, I think he is destined to eventually win a special teams job as a return man. As far as running back goes, he's good for depth behind Dalvin Cook and Alexander Mattison, the 1-2 starters, or 1-2 on the depth chart. I guess there isn't two starters. Dalvin Cook, for any reason whatsoever, he should go down with an injury, which I think we're all kind of scared of is just going to happen at any moment. Alexander Mattison moves into the starter role. Who would be the backup? Is it going to be Amir Abdullah? Is it going to be somebody else on the roster? Could it be Nwangwu? In a few years, this is where I think things get interesting. In a few years, Alexander Madison's rookie contract is going to run out. I don't know if they're going to keep him. So they might be trying to find a guy who is relatively inexpensive that they could sort of groom into this position to be the backup for Dalvin Cook if he is also still around in a few years. He has a much longer contract. They lost Mike Boone in free agency. I was always a big Mike Boone fan. I thought he could carry more of the load than he was really given a chance to. But he goes to Denver. He follows George Payton at his new job with the general manager of the Denver Broncos. So Mike Boone is now with the Broncos. And we were actually heading into the offseason looking to fill out the depth chart behind Cook and Madison at the running back position. And Nwangwu kind of does that, but he just doesn't have the college pedigree that you're looking for in an every down running back should he be thrust into that role. And I don't think he ever will be. On offense, his contributions at most are going to be wildcat formations, trick plays, or just passing downs where they get him into space and see if he can make something happen with the ball. Primarily, they drafted him to be a return guy, and you might be thinking round 4, pick 119. That's really early for a return guy. Yeah, it actually is. There was a lot of scouting reports I read that suggested he should have been a 6th or 7th round draft pick, or even maybe a high priority undrafted free agent. But the problem is the Vikings learned their lesson from a year ago when they drafted KJ Osborne late in the draft to address the return position. They waited too long, basically. The cupboard was rather bare by the time that they realized, hey, we haven't done anything with this position yet. We still have all these late round draft picks. Let's get somebody. And they ended up getting KJ Osborne, and he didn't really contribute at all. So I think this was them sort of overreacting to last year's mistake of waiting too long and deciding to go out and get one of the best available return specialists that they could possibly get in the draft, even if it was 1 or 2 or even 3 rounds too early. So I think they did what they wanted to do. They got the guy that they wanted. And I think Nwangwu is going to be a contributor this year, one way or another. It just depends on which aspect of special teams that he gets a crack at first. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of Nwangwu, the draft pick itself, and what his contributions could be to this year's team in the comments below. I will see you in the next one.